Hey Vinyl Video, it's Jason. Welcome to my Vinyl Quarantidio, is what I like to call it. This is one of my favorite times of the year, and with everything that's going on, just the whole, I'm preaching to the choir here, everyone's on craziness mode right now. We celebrated Taco Tuesday today. This is our one day to let loose a week. Taco Tuesdays quickly became one of my favorite days of the week, which is nice. So we have some margaritas and tacos and enjoy ourselves, and try to think about all the good things that are happening. Actually, we went to my dad's for about a month. He lives in some remote parts of Oregon on the river, and so we kind of hunkered down for a few weeks and to make sure we were all good. And drove 16 hours straight to his house and stayed there for a month, and they introduced Taco Tuesday, and we had Taco Tuesday looking over a river every Tuesday, and so it quickly became one of my favorite days. Spent some quality time with my dad and his wife, and was able to hang out with them, and we stayed with them for a month, and I see him for maybe 10 days a year, so this was a lot of years crammed into 1 month, and so it was definitely at the end, I'm sure he was looking forward to his quiet time, but he definitely enjoyed spending time with his family, his grandson and his granddaughter, and myself and my wife. It was amazing. So I never would have had the chance to do that without being quarantined, so you try to look forward, and I worked the whole time I was working from home, so those are the things that you take from this as a positive. But we are back home, and it's 16 hours back. I drove back on Saturday. Crazy drive, but I'm home, and I missed my records. I was so happy. I was like, oh god, my music. And my son got home and his toys. He's like, yeah. That evening, his toys were all over the couch, in piles of all his favorite superheroes and whatever. So, anyways, and one thing I was really looking forward to, and kind of the reason why I wanted to do this video. There's a couple reasons. It's like I said, Brazilian Christmas, we'll get to, but this album, which one here it is. This it was supposed to come before I left to my dad's, and it took 4 weeks. It got lost in the mail. I didn't think it would come. I was super scared, and it came the week after I left. So I just really want to come back and check it out. This is my grail. Well, this is the one record I want to score all year, and this is Sambrasa Trio, Sol Mi Maior. Look at that cover, it's so great. Humberto Pasquale, Ayrton Moriera, and I forget the other ones, Kleber, something Kleber, Humberto Kleber, I think. I don't know. But it's a 3-piece, and this is my favorite Brazilian jazz album of all time, for sure. It's just so good. And this is Humberto Pasquale. Humberto Pasquale is a musical Brazilian jazz genius. He's a piano virtuoso. He writes a lot of music. He was on the Miles Davis Live Evil. He wrote a couple tracks for that. But he's really good at flute. Flute and piano are his 2 big instruments. He plays, clarinet, wind instruments. I don't know if he plays sax or what, but he just crushes it, and he's got a sound. He knows his sound. So I really needed that to complete my Humberto Pasquale collection. But this is my favorite Brazilian jazz album of all time, and this is one of the this is the one record I wanted all year. So stoked to get it. I knew it has tape all around the sides, and I knew that, but the record sounds, it's not near mint, but it's excellent BG. It's just so good. I'm a little bummed because this is actually a stereo press. You can't tell from the list, but it's a stereo press, and it was listed under the mono press. I don't know much about the stereo press. I don't know if it's a reissue or what, but if you look at the mono, the back cover of the mono, which has the same here, it gives you the mono and the stereo numbers in this. So there must have been, I'm guessing there was a stereo press too. I don't know what the deal is. I have no idea. But I'll probably keep it. I might have overpaid, especially if it's a reissue, but I've wanted this record for so long. I'll just keep it, and then I'll try to find another copy. Maybe, I don't know. I'm gonna tap the tape off too. So maybe my next video, if I just completely crush it and it's super clean, I'm gonna take the stickers off. I will show it again. But so that's what we're listening to, and one of the reasons I wanted the video, because it's just an excuse to listen to this amazing music. But the other one, my favorite time of the year, is because in Brazil, I send records to my wife's friend's house, and so if I find a good deal or a new record, like especially newer stuff, is I can find it when it first comes out. I just send it to her house. Or if I find a record I've wanted and it for a good price, because Brazilian records, if you just kind of keep them on your list, if you get a Brazilian seller, sometimes they'll just put it for pretty cheap. Not cheap, but like reasonable. So I've been accumulating records in Brazil. My mother-in-law just came back, and also when she's there, I look to find records I want. Like, this is the time to send them to her, because the shipping's like, if you get one record, it's like $25. If you get a couple, maybe it's like 30. But I bought, I guess, 3 singles and a batch of 3, so I got 6 records. So that would have been over $100 in shipping. So I save $100 in shipping, and she brings them to me. So this is my Christmas, because I get this like once a year. There actually I was supposed to get 6 more in a different package, but it still hasn't been delivered. That's kind of lost in Brazil. So I hope it's a record club I belong to, so it's mostly newer stuff, but there was one of my girls in there, Osman Thomas' first album. So I'm hoping it finds its way home. But anyways, these are the records that that she brought back. So the first 3 are the ones I ordered individually. This is Trupe Chá de Boldo. This is, I don't even know. It's just like from the 2013, 12, something like that. The name's Presente is the name of the album. And this is like an indie pop, kind of like has some psych tinges a little bit. And this is a private press. You can tell there's like not much to the sleeve here. I don't know. I was just kind of down a rabbit hole on Spotify, and I ended up on this band, and they have a few albums, and there was like 2. I think they had like 4 or 5, and I like 2 of them. This is one of them. This is the only one they had on vinyl. And nobody sold it on Discogs. No one really had it or even wanted it. So it was hard to track down, which is kind of interesting too. Because this is a private press, by the band presses. So I actually ended up emailing the band, and they got back like a week later. They got back to me and said like, yeah, they have copies. If I want to buy one, just let them know where to send it. And it was like $15, so cheap. So I was like, sweet. So I bought it. This isn't like mind blowing, but still cool. Kind of reminded me of Sao a little bit. If you like Sao, it's kind of like it's like pop, Brazilian pop, but a little bit jazzier. She's got like a really nice voice, and the vocals on here were awesome too. There's a couple songs just had a little bit of edge to it, so I just got it. I'm not sure how often I listen to it, but I liked it for sure. I'll play, if I play it and my wife likes it, I'm sure I'll play it fine. It's kind of hard to find Brazilian music because you like newer Brazilian music. This one is Chico Buarque, Construction, original on Philips. If you know this album, this is like classic Brazilian, 72 or something, 71. And it's not Tropicalia, it's like more like MPB, which is like popular pop music at the time. But more like edgy, like Tom Zay. It does have some like a little bit of Tropicalia, kind of like it's not psych, but there's a lot going on. It's good. It's like dark. It's a very dark album. And I don't understand all the lyrics, but apparently it's like a kind of a darker, more well constructed lyrically album. So yeah, this is a grail, not grail. This is just high on the want list, and it's cheap. Actually, cheap. It's a cheap record. So, long story, but that's like the 3rd time I bought it, and actually just bought a 4th copy because I forgot how good. Actually, it was really nice. It was like I think I bought it was VG, but it's like super clean copy, and I forgot, and I bought another one like a couple weeks ago because the guy said it was mint, which I also paid super cheap for. So now I have 2 copies. So if you want one, maybe in the future I can trade. And this is the last one that I bought. I sent this as also an individual record I sent to my friend, my wife's friend. This is Luiza Lian, Azul Madero, which I think means modern blue. This is on the Noise. Noise is like I think Noise is the first Brazilian record club. I think it was. So I found out about them because they pressed Kuramin's second album, which is amazing. And I actually tried to sign up for the club, but they weren't having me speaking English. I tried broken Portuguese, and you couldn't even pay unless you're from Brazil. So it was just, forget it. I just gave up. I bought a couple on the secondary. I think this is the third or fourth. I can't remember. For sure third, maybe fourth album I have on their label. Which is a record club. So, and this wasn't super expensive. I think this was pretty cheap too, $20. So it's kind of like it's newer, 2017. It's kind of like indie. It's cool. It's like has some like very mellow her and the piano, and then there's some like more electronic parts. And the same, and like her music's all over the place, which is super cool. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, not super expensive, so definitely recommend grabbing it. You know, 20, 25 bucks. I mean, the shipping's which is why I got my Brazilian Christmas. So those are the three I sent. I found them different times, and then these three I bought recently because I kind of was following this guy who had some records I wanted, and my mother-in-law's there, so it saved me on shipping. This first one, this is Raposa Velha. And look at that cover; it's so crazy. It's like Brazilian private jazz from '81. The side B is a lot better than side 2 for sure. This record there's no clips on YouTube or online anywhere, so the seller sent me some stuff. I liked it. Now that I listen to the whole thing, it's definitely not mind blowing. It's from the '80s too, so it kind of has an '80s feel, but it has a couple like free jazz elements in the second side. I don't know if I would have paid what I paid for it if I'd listened to the whole thing before, but it was still good. I liked it. For jazz, for me, it has something. I don't know. I've only listened to it once. I just got these, so definitely listen to it again. And the cover just like blew me away. I don't know. I'm like, if the music looks like the cover, then this shit's crazy. It was good. I'm gonna listen to it again. It's kind of cool to have. I mean, it's cool. This next one is another classic, kind of in the same vein of Chico Buarque, Construcción. This is Caetano Veloso. This is his second album on Philips. I already had this, but I have an '82 press, and this is the original on Philips. This is like Chico Buarque. It's not a super expensive album. I mean, especially in Brazil, it maybe costs a little more here, 50, 60 bucks, but in Brazil you can probably get it for like, I think I paid like 30 bucks for this, and the record's super clean. The album cover's a little bit dirty. It's not terrible. It's just kind of aged. It's kind of like reminds me of the White Album. Even though the White Album is like easy to clean because I've cleaned a few White Albums, just the way the cover is. But this is so good. This is my favorite Caetano Veloso. I mean, it has Irene, which is super classic. Kind of has like a break beat. Alpha Omega, which is amazing. He's got a couple songs in English, Empty Boat, Lost in Paradise, which I love. Yeah, the whole thing's just awesome. So, highly recommended. I mean, this is probably one of like an intro Brazilian album if you're just getting into Brazilian music. Caetano Veloso, the White Album, it's just very accessible. A couple songs in English, which is I guess is nice, but I don't know. I mean, his songs in English are I think a lot simpler than his songs in Portuguese, but like lyrically, because it's not his first language. But this is so good, so classic. And like I said, I had to get the original, and it was cheap, like 30 bucks. So I bought it. Last but not least, Sextets do Beco. This is, I don't know if it's self-titled or what, but they're kind of like a college album. And look at their jam session on there. I think it's kind of like a college. There's a lot of people on here. And the singer, Andrea Daltro, sings Soprano. She went on to have an album a few years later it's just like classic Brazilian 80s. It's highly sought after, like super ridiculously mortgage your house. Not that expensive, but you know, more than I would pay for sure. But this is really good. I didn't think I would ever buy this. I mean, it's on my list for sure. I just thought it'd be. It's not like super high up on my list, but you know, when you have it on your list and you're buying from a seller who has a couple records you want to package together, I jumped on it. It's a really clean copy. Little bummer doesn't have the insert, but maybe one day. So yeah, this is nice to get original press of that. And that is that. So that's my Brazilian Christmas. Usually I get a few more records. Like I said, I had 6 more that got lost in the mail, but it's always nice to get some new Brazilian music. And I haven't bought any records in a while, so I don't know when I'm gonna get stuff. I'm not actively seeking records out in the wild. Kind of just laying low, not going out too much. Only when necessary. But it is how it is. Say it is what it is. Even though I've heard someone make fun of that tonight. So yeah. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope you are all doing wonderful and finding great records. And I know this will be a slow year record-wise, but I think I said in the beginning, quality over quantity. So I'm not. I got the one record I wanted all year. I said if I got that record, I would be content I got it, and I'm listening to it as we speak. So life is good. Could be worse. So anyways, take care, everybody.